Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. And yes, this is the Memorial Day 2021. This is a day that's been set aside to show recognition and a form of honor for those who gave their lives to protect what this nation is all about. The America that we live in today rests on the shoulders of all of those who gave their lives to fight against any enemy, usually foreign, but even domestic, if there would be that. And we're able to sit here today. We're not the best that we would hope that we would be, but we are definitely not as bad as we could have been had we not had the love and compassion and commitment to our cause as those who gave their lives. And ladies and gentlemen, to think about that, to think about how committed they were for a cause so dear to them, and to find out that one of the most major leaders, President of the United States, would call out a militia to attack this institution and to take it from all of those men who gave their lives to keep it maintained and to put it in their hands based upon a lie, tricked by a lie, and a lie that's still roaming, a lie that's so powerful that even those that happened to have lost their lives on January 6th or even thereafter due to that event itself, and to have a representative of those who come before the United States Senate, those who made the decisions to send you into battle, those who made the decision that caused you in your commitment to give up your lives for a cause such as this. And they themselves are rejecting the pleas of those representatives who gave their lives to even have a investigation to determine what caused, what led up to it, and how we can prevent it in the future. And ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are listening to me now, we know what the reason is. The reason is because they caused it. They set it up, all in the name of power. Power dedicated to themselves as any fraternity, as any secret society to rip off this nation. They couldn't even contain it. Steve Miller used to say it all the time about how it was going to just kick it down our throats. The power. Yes, my friends, the power that says black people are second-class citizens or two-thirds of a human being. Anybody of color that was going to rise them to the top and make them play God. Ladies and gentlemen, we must understand that today also, in the midst of all of the things that's happening, there was a university at graduation stood up and said that they had made the decision that all debts would be canceled. You can bet everybody in debt wanted to cry and did. I'm not in debt with that institution, but I cried for the joy of those who were feeling the joy. Then at the same time, we are witnessing movies, documentaries that take us back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, 100 years ago, when black people who had stepped out from white oppression and bondage and slavery and say, we can do it on our own. And they were doing it. They had no problems with whites as far as their livelihood was going. Their presence represented who and what they were. And for some strange reason, there was something in that white power structure that could not accept that. They wanted to destroy that, just as they had made these people slaves in the past, just as they had kept them in bondage and beat them. They could not accept the fact that they had been delivered. And so that God that dwells within them, that hate, that evilness, rose up and said, we got to get them. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what the story says. The story says, the documentary says, that they went down and they burned it to the ground, bombed it, murdered, slaughtered. They did all of the evil things that's done in war. And you know what they did? They dusted their hands and went back home and got away with it. The United States government, white supremacy, allowed that to happen. White supremacy, ladies and gentlemen. You don't call it United States government because the government is white supremacy. Allowed it to happen, and it didn't just happen in that area alone. Do some research if you're interested. You'll find that it happened all over the place, and it's still happening today. Find out when you recognize, ladies and gentlemen, when there was a miracle. A miracle. It wasn't anything new. Black people have been killed by cops all the time. But on this particular day, I think it was, a year ago, not 100 years, but a year ago, a young man by the name George Floyd was murdered. And something happened that hadn't happened before. For some strange reason, there were certain people in particular places who were observing this. Some put it on camera. This isn't new. They'd seen it on camera before. But here was something, I don't know, it had to be special because everything fit. And as a result, the whole world got a chance to see the operations of the power structure of the world. The power structure of the world, not just America. Because the world woke up and looked around and they stuck up their heads, they raised up their fists because it was them too. And they were all hoping that a conclusion would come out of this and a solution that everybody could live with. And since we're the United States of America, we call ourselves the greatest nation on earth. So they're looking for us to take care of this. But what are we to do, ladies and gentlemen? We are still representation of white supremacy. We are still representation of white supremacy. It is this place, the United States of America, where one young man by the name of Kaepernick, I always have problems with that name. That's the first time I ever heard anybody name that. Anyway, who said he was frustrated and wasn't going to take it anymore. He was going to do something about it. And so this time, being a national football player, when they called out for the anthem and everybody's standing, putting their hands over their hearts, their commitment to this nation for whatever it is or whatever they think about it, he was going to go out and get on a knee, representing God, representing that there's something better. He was pointing by getting on his knee. He was representing God. And so what did the President of the United States say? He said, get that, you know what, and he didn't use those words, out of that stadium. Get him off that field. And he was telling everybody, this is the way you treat blacks and people of color. How dare let them act like they got some privilege. This is the same attitude that took them down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and burned that place to the ground and killed all those people. That is the attitude. This is the attitude that lets us know that if any black people had been like I don't know who Antifa is, but let's just say they represented something other than white supremacy, and they were climbing up on the United States Capitol, they would have been mauled down with nothing but tanks. They wanted to make sure they got them all. But no, these were the white supremacists going against white supremacists. And what did they do? What did the president? Did he say, get these son of so and so and so and so? No. He allowed them to do exactly what he hoped they would do, but they weren't as foolish and as ignorant as he. They didn't get a chance to. They were a little bit slow. What happened? He tells them to go home. Yeah, they messed over you and us. He was talking about their right to rule, and every lie that they can use to put them in that position is okay. That represents nothing but hell, ladies and gentlemen. That represents nothing but the devil. But you still, it's white supremacy. It is saying to all of the world, this is what white supremacy has to offer you. Hell or total bondage enslavement. Now, if you escape the hell right now, if you pass this up, then are you going to settle for the bondage that set up and qualified all of these things that happened to happen? Or is there any amongst you that will wise up? Wise up and take a road to a higher level. And maybe some will follow. It doesn't matter. If you do it yourself, at least it's being given recognition. And so what do I say to you? I say to all black people and people of color, don't ever again put white people above you. There are none above you, and you are above none. But you're equal to any human being. And whatever would make you anything better is your relationship and commitment and diligence to serve the truth of love of God. And that basically means this. There are no bombs dropped in Russia from the United States. There are no bombs dropped in the United States from Russia. Why? Because they know there's a price to pay. Each one knows that there's a price to pay. When you're driving on the highway, every car stays in their lane. Sometimes they try to be switching smart and get through there, and then when they do, they do. But every last driver out there knows that the safety is in staying in your lane. But when it comes down to power, white supremacy over others, there's no threat there. They do to blacks what they want, and blacks have been taking it because blacks haven't had the key. I bring you the key today, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you the key. Never again fear what white people can do to you, because you can do more to them. Never fear that the number of guns that they purchase, the ones and the tattoos that they put on, and the skinheads and whatever kind of things that they do to intimidate with ugliness and viciousness. Never fear, because whatever they can do to you, you can do more. Never worry about them coming and killing you, just shooting you down wherever they see you. Like what they've been doing is just a small gesture. Now they just start doing it. They've been trying to start a war. Never mind them. Let them start it. Because you, my friends, can do more to them than they can do to you. You see, what the secret is this. They've been doing it to you all your lives. Even those of you who have tried to rise up there to be with them, to make the kind of money that they make, to be able to travel on jets and cruises and live the high-class style. If you're black or people of color, you've always known it. They make sure you know it. And you can imagine what happened to those of us in between and at the bottom. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, let them start the race war if they dare. But let them know this. You're not going to pick up a gun because you don't have any. You're not going to take any old crazy act trying to kill them. You know, you do have a right to defend yourself. So I'm not speaking for all of us. I'm speaking for some of us. But the key is this. That ultimate weapon is a match in every city, in every town, in every county, in every state, throughout the United States. If anything ever starts where white supremacy wants to dominate you, make sure you got a match and burn this sucker to the ground. Make what happened in Iraq, the bombing in Iraq, look minuscule. Make all of this devastation that has been savaged upon the human race through hatred and racism and bigotry and the vials that come from the pit of hell manifest itself right here. Let everybody know that your life is dependent upon my life, and my life is dependent upon your life. And what you want is what you show. And what you show is what you get. It is time for us to stop being tools of other fools and start standing up for God. If God can send the flood and wipe out all human race, if God has that kind of power, if God can do that to signify and qualify God beyond the abilities of man, and God says the next time it will be fire. Fire. Is it going to take God to rain fire from heaven? Or will that fire come through the hands of men who said, we're fed up and not going to take it anymore? So you either treat us right or you go down with us. Now, that's not a threat, ladies and gentlemen. The only reason I told you this, ladies and gentlemen, is because I'm an elder. I'm getting old. And I know when you start speaking stuff like this stuff is true. This stuff works. When you start saying stuff like that, white power does not like it. I know that. And they really start killing. But they really kill the people who are bold enough to let something like that come out of their mouths. That's to make sure that you see it and you will never let it come out of your mouth. But I'm saying it because I want every individual on the face of the earth, black, white, any color, wherever you are, if you put God first, you will know that you are here, not by man. And the role that man played was a tool to get you here, that God designed to get you here. And that God that got you here has always got your back. You just don't know it. The benefit comes when you know it, and then you start showing it, because that's when God is alive in you. That's when the world can see God. God isn't in a book. God isn't in some preacher sitting up talking. God is in those human beings that are walking, doing the will of God, which is love. It's not killing, but it's not bending. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've taken a lot of your time, and I just want you to know, you can take me out. That's okay. God knows I never thought I'd get past 18 or 23. And all of us are going to die. But at least I have spoken out here on this Memorial Day, the day that's being honored for people who gave their lives. And I'm sitting here with all of the trees around me. The grass is green, and the almighty sun sitting up there in the middle of a white cloud, vested in the middle of a blue sky. And it's looking down on me as I speak these words to you. God loves you. Indeed, he does. And it's time you wake up and become like God of love, not like a God of the devil. And what is the God of the devil? You have no further place to look than what happened with George Floyd. You have no further place to look than what is happening with Donald Trump and everybody that's walking in his track and defending that lie. You have no further to look than that. That is the hell that is being represented on earth everywhere. That's hell, and it's right here in the middle of America, and it's growing, growing, growing. Have a good day.